is Jane Caputolan. She's the Business Development Manager for Resco, and Resco is a leading provider of enterprise mobility solutions globally. And she will be presenting a case study session on the power of mobility, a streamlined approach to reduce costs, errors, and carbon footprint with real-time data. A very relevant session, I must say, a very relevant session and topic to be addressed during these challenging times. We just heard Dr. Ashraf Mahathir talking about the importance of sustainability, importance of carbon neutral footprints, evolving from what we do as a business to make sure that we can survive these challenging times. I think it's worthwhile, very important to introduce the organization that she represents as well, Resco. Founded in 1999, Resco is one of the global leaders in developing cross-platform mobile software solutions. It enables companies to use and collect vital data in the field and digitize paper-based process through their state-of-the-art technology. Today, over 200,000 licensed users and 2,500 plus corporate customers worldwide use the platform Resco to mobilize their operations for the 21st century. And just before we start the session, this case study session, just for the delegates who joined in a bit late, the duration of this session will be 30 minutes. That'll be 20 minutes of Jane's presentation and 10 minutes of Q&A. And just like the previous session, how we manage it, how we organize it is during the session, we encourage delegates to raise their questions. And as you can see on the right-hand side of your platform, you will find a chat box. Towards end of the chat box, you can see a small tab, and towards the right of the tab, you will see multiple options where you can select the Q option to ask a question. And once our producer gets access to those questions, we will arrange them. We will take some time and we will ask those questions to Jane during the last 10 minutes of the presentation. Now, at the same time, our partner Resco has provided the resource link, which you can find on the top of the chat box. You will find this link in the next couple of minutes. Our team is uploading the same. And along with the resource link, which talks more about their field services platform, we are also going to share two links on the chat box. One of them is one of the case studies they have shared with us, a very interesting case study with one of the largest wind energy player in the industry, how they supported them, how they address the challenges. Another one is a link to access more information about their inspection services. So once again, it's a pleasure to host you, Jane. And
thank you.
Please go ahead. I can't say I'll share the dais with you or I'll share the dais with you, but I'm going to share my screen with you. So yeah, please go ahead, Jane. Pleasure.
Thank you. I hope my audio is good at the moment so I can proceed. But yeah, thank you very much also for having us in this event. I'd like to thank you guys for inviting us to speak at the moment. And yes, today I will share to you Resco.net, which is the company I work for, and how we actually help, as I would say, the renewable energy sector to really boost the productivity of its field service technician when it comes to digitalization and mobility. Hence, that's why the I would say the session today is a streamlined approach to really reduce cost, errors, and carbon footprints with real-time data. So I think you really had an introduction of me earlier, but like just very quickly, business development manager here in Resco, and my job really consists of, I would say, dealing with like clients and partners and really understanding what their needs are and see where Resco can really fill the gap with our solution. And we've been in the market for more than 21 years. You did mention earlier, we have over 250,000 users. Within this year, we also built up to more than 600 partners, and we're very much available worldwide, at least 100 plus countries. We have two offices. One is in Boston, Massachusetts, which is taking care of the Americas. And I am located here in Bratislava, Slovakia for Europe and also for Asia. And here are some of just the customers that we are actually with servicing, I would say. So some of these companies you might already know. So we don't really focus on one specific industry. I think wherever like mobility or digitalization is needed, we can obviously provide. And as you can see there, Microsoft, they're actually our client and partner at the same time, because we've been working with them for a very long time now, because with our solution, we're very much compatible and we are open to integration to whatever like backends that these companies are using. For example, with the Microsoft Dynamics 365. So yes, this is the case study that I wanted to share to you all. So MHI Vestas is our client, I think since 2017, and I will share to you how we integrate mobility for the company. And this actually was a quotation from their supervisor, because it's actually coming from the employees, that it really made them feel like Santa Claus came because with our solution. So it was directly from them. So I will share to you what was the challenge with the company. Because of the worldwide increase of the, I would say, popularity with the renewable energy, what MHI Vestas did is that from 250 employees, they expanded to, I would say, more than 3,000 employees, and mostly are field technicians. And because of this, they would obviously install and create more turbines, like designing, installation, and servicing. And that was the main reason why the priority is the efficiency servicing of these turbines. And some of these turbines, I would say mostly of these turbines, are in the sea, where there is no internet connectivity or even a service provider that can even reach at that point. So they want like the data to be on the go. And because of this one with I would say servicing, they need to climb a turbine. You know, you can't bring a pen and paper while climbing and fixing the blades out there. So this was a challenge from them, and this is why they approach Resco with our technology. And how we help is that we offer them a simple yet a very complex app. So all this data are very much accessible wherever they are, even climbing in this like turbines, and just continually do their job. So we also customize it in a way that a technician doesn't really need to see a lot of information. You know, you're climbing there, you don't need to have a lot of like clicking. You just really go there and just do the job, and it's automatically ready for you. And of course, these are all available offline. So this was the solution that Resco gave to them. And the feedback I mentioned earlier, the quotation that they told the supervisor that I think like Santa Claus really came to town. And when it comes to the facts and figures, we were able to really deploy the solution within 2 weeks' time. And they saved 90% of their allocated budget because 10% was only used. And again, it was very well received across the company. And as I mentioned, we have been working with them since 2017. So this is the case study itself of the MHI Vestas that we offered our solution. Now, let me proceed about the field operation solution. This is the tool that MHI Vestas use, and also other companies, not only in the renewable sector, but but I mentioned that any, I would say, sector that mobility is needed, we're always like here to help. So it's more than just an app, really. It's a complete solution in your hand. With our solution, we can have digital questionnaires, like smart checklists that you can customize. We can also custom the application depending on how you want it to look like, customize data dashboard as well. Team management is there because you will be able to schedule tasks to your, I would say, field technician. Mobile reports you can run, digital signature. Some of these are legally binding signature. We support PDFs, images, audio, video as well, code scanning, AI image recognition, and we support at least 40 languages. And in general, it could be used in offline. And not only that, because here in Resco, we have our own Resco cloud, but it really doesn't matter which, I would say, backend that you are using or CRM that you're using, because we integrate, for example, with Dynamics 365, also with Salesforce, and whatever really that you are, I would say, using at the moment. So this is just a quick, I would say, cases that we are currently, I would say, servicing. So for asset maintenance that I just shared earlier, but we could also for work orders, risk-based inspection, incident reports, health and safety procedure, even with asset management. And very quickly, this is the asset inspection. So this is how the flow it would look like. For example, if you can see on the left side, let's say a manager creates the procedure form. So this is where he creates the checklist that the technician really need to fill out. He then schedules it to the technician. So on the day of the inspection, the technician just really receive a notification on his phone about the job that he is supposed to do. And he would just follow a step-by-step procedure with this one. And once he completes the job, the manager gets really notified about the job completed. So as you can see, these are real-time data, and it automatically analyzes the results. So you don't really need to wait for, let's say, a technician to really do all the inspection within a day and just input like from the pen and paper to the computer, like towards the end of the day. So this is a real-time like data that we are, I would say, showing to them. Here in the company, these are just the immediate benefits. So with our technology, we really enhance the frontline worker productivity by up to 50%, because we really need to really let go of the pen and paper, because this would also result to a decreased human error from 4% to below 1%. And because of that, it would also cut down the final reports from days to even just seconds. And I'd like also to tell you that they're very much, I would say, compatible with whatever mobile device that you're using, with the different operating system. It could be with iOS, Android, or Windows, and as well with the wearables, AR for asset maintenance, trainings, surveys, safety and quality compliance, step-by-step procedures, and more. So the goal really is that we want to really modernize the business and become a truly digital data-driven organization. So that's kind of like what we really pushed here in the company. And not only with the digitalization, which is the transforming paper-based, I would say, processes, but also we want to be environmental friendly. So statistically speaking, if we still stick to the pen and paper, a technician uses at least 12 paper a day. And imagine if your work, I would say, in a company where there's like 50 technicians, that really consumes at least 1.5 tons of carbon dioxide really released in the atmosphere yearly. So this is also what we try to push for. And maybe just to sum it up, I would just like to share to you that these are just the 5 top things that you should expect from a digital field service solution. 1, an end-to-end software that is ready to go, because if you want to really digitalize your business quickly and efficiently, you need to have a really flexible, scalable system that is able to service all your needs. And this is why we really help you from like the beginning of the process until the end. And secondly, we focus on the mobility. Some of the software companies are still heavily used in a desktop. And this is why we try to be really, I would say, adaptable to however the small the device or the mobile device that you are using. And you can have access to all this data anywhere, anytime, even if there's no internet connection. Like it doesn't like really stops the job that you're doing. Ease of use, because some of these field technicians, as I mentioned, you don't really need to have that much old data in your hand. I think like a field technician just really goes on site. When he opens the mobile device, the questionnaire is just right there in front of his eyes. easy integration as well, because I know that some companies are very unique to whatever system that you're using. And that is why we're very much integrated with whatever like CRM or ERP that you're using, whether it's Dynamics 365 or Salesforce or whatever really back end. And all of this can be fully customizable. And the last one is like customer care, because we really want to listen, to throw the feedbacks of these clients. And that's why we keep on like evolving and really innovate. What else can we do to really help this, like, I would say energy sector, but not only that, but also for other sectors as well. So right now, I think I will just show you a very quick demo of our product. This is how it would look like, or I would say a day, scenario of a technician, and obviously how you can also schedule some incidents with our, I would say, app. So maybe if you can play the video.
Thank you for still tuning in. Now I'm going to show to you how our product would look like. This is the Resco inspection. And the main purpose of the digital solution is to really connect people within the company. We have different views and we call them experience depending on the type of job. So here is the view of the technician. A technician doesn't really need to know a lot of data within the company. What he merely needs to know is that his calendar and his scheduled like inspection for that specific period of time. If I'm gonna switch my role as a dispatcher and schedule manager, you will be able to see that I have more access to the data. So here is very customizable. You can decide as how the look you want it to be. We're also very compatible with whatever devices that you'll be using. It could be with a desktop, laptop, or even the phone. And here, as a schedule manager, I will be doing this online, but the inspection-wise can be done in an offline functionality. So I wake up in the morning and I would like to see a graphic overview of my maintenance plans, incident schedules, inspection duration, and obviously how many questionnaires were completed. So I can also be able to see here a calendar of the scheduled inspection. I can see here my assets, turbine 1, 2, 3, and what are the, I would say, the status of each asset. And so on and so forth. You can obviously decide how and what information you wanted to see. So I can see here an accounts, contact, resources, and even a map. So waking up in the morning, I would, for example, receive a notification that there is a fault in my asset. So I would report an incident, for example, a broken blade. I would then assign to which asset it was referring to, for example, turbine 2, and I would choose a responsible contact for that. For example, Bruno Ferrari. Status in progress, priority high, and just click save. Now, if I would go back here for schedule incident, I would see that the incident that I just reported is on the top part. Now, what I can do is that we can operate in a simple drag and drop interface. So the one I just reported, I can just drag it to somebody who is free on that specific period. So for example, this one. Now, it will also show you how long the duration, for example, of the specific inspection. And then I will be able to assign which questionnaire that John Quinn needs to fill out. So here we would proceed to how the questionnaire would look like. Whatever you see here is fully customizable, and depending on how complex or easy the questions you want it to be. And this digital form, this will also serve as a guidance to your field technician. So this is where he would also then to input more data. So for demonstration purposes, you can see here questions that can be answered by yes or no. There is also a possibility to take a photo with your device. So for this one, I would just choose a photo, and I would choose turbine 1, for example. There is also a possibility to tag images. For example, check the blades. I would just then drag and drop, and there is already a predefined question that says, are there any damage or cracks on the blades? Yes or no. And also this one, check the flap shop bearing. Check scale or corrosion, done, not done. And check the blade pinching. Yes, does the movement of the pinching run smoothly? Yes, it does. And I would just save this photo. If we just continue with the questionnaire, there's also a possibility to input a predefined smart question that will show you whether the answer is good or bad. So if I just put here, for example, 20, it will show me that it's in color red, which means that it's not good. But if I change it to 80, then it will show me color green. So you can customize this one. And we can just continue with the questionnaire. Done, done, yes, no, NA, yes. And you can add more photos towards the end. So I could just add another photo, for example, this one. And I would just continue with the report and saying satisfactory, and you can add more comments with it. So all done. And you can end it up with a signature here. You can just, for example, just here and then save. Once you're finished, you can complete this questionnaire with a report. And after really clicking this one, you won't be able to make any changes afterwards. And then it will automatically show you a PDF form of the report. So this is how the report would look like. These are all the information that we filled out. We also have a report builder that can create PDF file that matches your specification. And that's it. After you've completed this report, if you have done it in offline mode, once you get the internet connection, it will be then relayed to your manager. And this is the Resco inspection in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane, for the very informative session. I think sometimes, when you see the PowerPoints, you get a feeling it's very technical, but you have simplified it, delivered in a way where we all could understand.
I mean, I'm not coming from a very technical field, to be honest. So
Brilliant.
It's more of like just the idea and, how you can simplify it to like the listeners that also doesn't have much technical background, I would say.
That's good. Thank you. We have a few questions that came in from delegates during the presentation, so I'll go through them one by one. The first question is from Samuel, and his question is it specific to energy? So basically, is it specific to energy sector, the product or the platform? What other industries can use this? So it'll be good if you can give a holistic view on what other industries you're currently working with. Maybe telecom, or it could be automobile. I'm not sure. So please give a holistic idea. So Samuel and the other delegates will have a clear picture in terms of the usability as well, please.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you for that first question. I would say that we don't really focus on one specific sector. I mean, right now, I just shared to you more on the energy sector part, but we are very much open. For example, we help in retail as well, or FMCG. We also work for non-for-profit. I can even give you one example. Another case study very quickly is that for the non-for-profit, we help United Nations when it comes to these refugees from Uganda. And as you can think that there's really not much access to internet when you are like there. And that's why for weeks we were collecting data of these refugees, and they used Resco as a backend for that one to really store the information. So we are not very limited to the energy sector, but this is what we just shared today. But yeah, any sector is very much open depending on the need of that, I would say, company.
Thank you. I hope it's clear, Samuel. In fact, if you have more questions, you can email Jane directly. But you guys will be in touch at a later stage, anyways, if you want to take the conversation further in terms of the sectors that Resco focuses on. The next question I got from Shritu: can this be integrated to any existing software used for tracking performance of our field staff? So Shritu, I assume you're talking about some kind of performance-driven internal software with which you track your staff who's working outside the office, I assume. If it's not the case, please send a follow-up question. But assuming that's the case, what's your thoughts on that, Jane, please?
Yes, I can tell you that we can obviously integrate with whatever existing software that they're using, because we have API for third-party integration. So it could be with whatever CRM or any ERP that they are using. And if he meant not more on the internal, I would say, software, because here in Resco, we also offer a Resco Roots. It's another pre-built, I would say, product within the company that you can track where your, for example, employees are or field workers are, and see how long they really, I would say, stay in that, I would say, inspection wise, and you can have live viewing where they are in a map, for example. But if you're already using an existing one, we're happy to integrate with this as well.
Thank you. I hope that addressed the question, Shritu, and I can't see any follow-up questions from your side. So I assume that answer was quite spot on. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to send that to us once the event is over. We will be putting you in touch with Jane at a later stage anyways.
Yes.
And before I go to a couple of other questions which I got from the producer as a private message, I just want to remind all the delegates about the link, the resource link on the top of the chat box. Again, I may sound repetitive, but just to remind you once again, on the right-hand side of the screen, on the top of the chat box, please make sure you click the link to know more about the organization, what they do, and we will be sharing these links till end of the session. So once the session is over, we will still keep it live for a few more minutes for you to just go and have a look at what Resco does, and at the same time get some time to get familiarized with what they do. And that'll make a lot of sense connecting the same to the presentation that Jane did. The questions that I got as a private message, before I get to the question, just to give you an idea about the private message, the delegate has chosen to send the question as a private message, so I won't be disclosing the name. But once Jane addresses these questions, the gentleman who asked these questions, if you want further clarifications, you can email us and we'll be more than happy to put you in touch with Jane. The questions are basically, both are pretty much the same question if it came from, even though it came from two different people. Where is the company's head office? Are they present in the UAE? So yeah, please.
Yes, so we have two offices. The main one is here in Bratislava, Slovakia, and we're taking care of the Europe region as well as the Asia. And one is in Boston, Massachusetts, which is taking care of the Americas. But it doesn't mean that we don't have a headquarter there. We cannot extend because we're very much present through our partners all over the world. And yes, we also have different clients and partners, especially in the UAE, that we are using our technology.
Thanks, Jane. I think that did clarify the fact that they are very mobile. I think it's connected to the session as well, the power of mobility. They could be based in they could be based in the US or Europe, but wherever you want them, they will be there. And I think we all got used to the power of mobility these days for the past 1 year. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the questions. Thanks a lot, Jane. That was a very productive conversation session. And once again, just a quick reminder, we will be leaving the platform live for the next 2 minutes. Feel free to click the link, know a bit more about the organization. Thanks a lot to all the delegates and thought leaders who spent time today with us. And at the same time, a big thanks to the Resco team and Jane for supporting us with this initiative. We will see